James Steinhubel on the Health and Wellness Channel, TVU. Today we have Kerri Bodie, personal trainer, marked improvement. How are you doing?
Doing great, buddy. Thanks for having me on.
That's great. That's good. So you look like you're tired. You must be working.
Yeah, I just finished training a couple of people. We've been doing a lot of online training because, of course, the building right now is closed down. We're hoping to get to open up in the third phase, so that'll be exciting. And yeah, so right now it's been working really well doing Zoom interviews with, or rather Zoom workouts with clients. It's working really well.
So you're doing them one-on-one or groups?
Just one-on-one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it would be kind of difficult probably with a group for me to be able to see people. So they can just do it right in their house. If they don't have any gear, then I just plan the workouts, with body weight and using a chair or whatever. And then some people have benches and weights. And so then I just plan the workout, for their living room or wherever they're at.
Excellent. It's the first time that you've been on TVU. So maybe a little bit of a background about you and a little bit about your fitness studio there.
Okay. Well, I had a number of pregnancies myself. And so I was pretty frustrated at one point, thinking I couldn't get anywhere with this weight. I tried working out and it wasn't really working. And I started researching nutrition. So as a trainer, I've really gone down the nutrition aisle because once we connect the nutrition with good, efficient workouts, it actually works really well. So when I discovered that and I was able to lose 10 pounds right away, I was feeling better. And I started training at Orange Theory that was in Sherwood Park. And that was a fun 3 years. And then that was groups though. And then I was really excited to bring it down to one-on-one here at Marked Improvement. So this is a really fun environment over here. We have like little private rooms, basically, well, semi-private, I should say. The doors are just open, but it's just me and the client in the room working out. So for a lot of people, that's encouraging because they don't have to have a whole big gym staring at them, I do train men lots of times. Working with men is quite simple. You teach them what to do with the nutrition and the exercises, and it works really well and really fast for men. And what I find with women, whom I love to train women, especially women who've had kids, because that's where I've been. And I feel it's exciting for me to be able to give them hope that they'll be able to get somewhere, right? Because I've been where they've been. I've felt the feelings they felt, and with hormones and cycles and all these things, it actually is a lot more complicated for women and it seems to take more time. But if we can connect everything, the food and the proper kind of workouts for them, then it works a lot faster. And it's super rewarding to see, the changes and how excited they are to, get into old clothes that were in their wardrobes before. And then they're like, I haven't been here in ages. This is great. So that's really fun. I really love it.
I've got a ton of questions about women's fitness, but I want to ask overall about the marked improvements, fitness philosophy, and program strategy. What sets you apart? What makes you distinct? People can distinguish your program in the market.
Right. Well, as personal trainers, trainers that are worth their salt, you're going to plan each workout for that specific client each time, right? So I take 10 to 15 minutes every day for each client before the workout to plan a workout for them. And, when people go to work out, if they have injuries and things like that, it can be quite difficult to get a proper workout that's working the muscles in a really good way when they're trying to avoid an injury. So, with the amount of experience that we have around here and the ideas and the different kinds of gear that we have, we can get them to work with the injury or around the injury or strengthen the injury, right? So that pretty soon they're working at full capacity and having a good time because, on their own, they didn't understand what was happening, right? I can see the form. I can look at what they're doing. I can correct hip position and all the things that need to keep them safe, right? So with the little private rooms and with every time they come to work out, it's a personalized, planned workout for them. And no one's on their gear, right? So there's no waiting for machines or whatever like you might have at a big box gym, right? So when lives are busy, you don't want your workout to be wasting your time, right? So I'll set up the next thing while they're finishing the previous one. We go right into the next one and right into the next one. So it's like they're getting a cardio workout while they're doing the weights, right? It's because we're just moving to the next thing, move to the next thing, move to the next thing. No waiting, no standing around, no hoping someone gets off this part, or, you know.
Hmm.
So the 1 hour is solid, right? You really working hard through there. And then at the end, I like to do a stretch, because lots of times people avoid the stretch. You know, they'll work out hard and just go home because of time limits or whatever. But I like to save 5 to 7 minutes at the end of each workout to do a proper full stretch while the muscles are warm. So at least that they're keeping the flexibility they've got. Maybe they can get a little further. The soreness is less. You know, range of motion can grow each time that they're doing the workout. So yeah, I like to keep that in. Keeps them healthy, keeps injuries down, works well.
So I heard a few things that are distinctive. I like the studio boutique concept that
Yeah.
your every room is outfitted with the equipment that you need as you move from station to station, and there's no waiting. I've never heard of that before.
Yes.
That is very new.
I
That's
love it.
awesome. That's distinctive. The other thing that I'm hearing is, or here two things. I'm hearing about specific nutrition. So I want to hear about your weight loss strat, what kind of nutrition we're looking at, and then your your maintenance, and then maybe a little bit of gaining, gaining muscle mass.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
a third thing that I heard, and of course you can ask me again, I can tell you, but the third thing I heard is that you're using a specific muscle group training. So tell us about those three different things, if you don't mind.
Sure. Yep. Nutrition, again, very individual, right? So when I get a client in, we'll talk about all the things that are going on for them, for likes and dislikes, because if they don't like what they're eating, they're not going to keep it up,
Mm-hmm.
right? So number one, I look into what their support system is. You know, who do you have around you? Children, spouses? Are they supportive, or are they sabotaging you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because sometimes people want to be helpful and kind and bring home treats and junk, you know, for people to eat, but it's sabotaging their weight loss instead of helping them out, right? So we sort of figure out what's going on in the environment at home. You know, it's not a one size fits all at all, right? I really need to dig into the person themselves, what environment they're living in, what are their likes and dislikes, and then I start planning nutrition around that. I generally don't do food plans or menus. Like, I'm not going to tell you 1 cup of rice, 1 cup of broccoli. I'm not going to do that. I can do that, but I prefer to have people understand how to eat instead of me telling them what to eat,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that wherever you're at, if you're at a buffet, you know exactly what things to choose that'll help you maintain the weight or even lose, as opposed to not knowing what you're doing and going, oh, I'll just blow it out here and eat whatever and trying to get back on later, right? I can help you understand what things are going to work for you and your body type, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your goals, what you're looking for. So again, super specific, right? Another thing that really works for a lot of people is understanding that we need to eat way less often. Okay, we do need to eat way less, but we also need to eat way less often. Okay, so the 6 small meals a day, you know, 3 main meals with snacks, you know, actually we are starting to see that backfires on a lot of people. Not everyone, but a lot of people. So starting to mash their snacks into their other meals, right? So we're down to just 3. Or maybe we're gonna mash it some more until you're only eating 2 meals a day, right? And leaving bigger spaces in between. Because really weight loss doesn't happen until insulin's in the basement. How do we get insulin in the basement? We stop eating, right? We need to leave bigger spaces. So don't keep spiking the insulin with little snacks, grazing all day long. No, let's just settle that down. In fact, for some clients, they can eat exactly the same number of calories, but when they mash it into 2 eating areas, they start losing weight. They're eating the exact same calories, but they're giving that digestion a break in between, allowing that insulin to drop right down and get into some fat burn in between, right? So just that realization for some people can make just a huge, huge difference.
Mm-hmm. And then the targeted, the specific muscle group targeted kind of, you didn't say it specifically, but the way you're explaining it is that you're working on body groups or muscle groups with people?
Well, okay, again, with each client, depending on what they're looking for. So some people are looking just for weight loss. And some people are like, look, I really want to grow my shoulders, you know, that kind of thing. So We just have to figure out what the client wants to do. We do have machines that they can do it on to really isolate specific muscle groups if they want to work on it. If they're looking for full overbody, all over body strength, I actually prefer not to use the machines and to push them into using more of the free weights, right? Because then you're using more stabilizers, knees, hips, ankles, right? Shoulders, and you're stabilizing way more. The weights are lighter, but because you're stabilizing more, you're getting more strength. And because the weights are lighter, actually have less injury, right? So we get more workouts out of people, more results. So I really enjoy that.
Okay, so it's people are living longer and younger longer, so people now getting into their 50s, moving into their 60s. Now you're dealing with specific women fitness issues. Women
Yeah.
are into menopause, and the women in my life, some nothing happens to them, others lose weight, but more often it seems they're struggling with other kind of weight gain and mobility and issues, hot flashing, tiredness. How can a life of fitness or working with a trainer help them with that?
Right, right. Definitely. One of the things that addresses tiredness is mineral uptake. Okay, so vitamins are important. Yes, we need about 16 vitamins, but we need about 60 minerals in our lives. And it doesn't have to be a ton. A lot of these minerals are just trace minerals, but you need them, right? Especially like if we look at electrolytes and things like that, you don't have enough electrolytes. Like your body is electric. Every signal in your body is electric, right? So if your electrolytes are low, you're gonna feel tired, right? So we'll look at the diet. What's happening? Do we need to increase minerals in general, electrolytes, whatever, right? So increasing mineral intake, number one. Number two, exercising itself gives you more energy. And that does seem weird, but like our bones are piezoelectric. Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
Piezoelectric. So when we put pressure on the bones, it exerts a little bit of current, right? And when it's not, it's actually storing current, storing energy. Okay, so by putting pressure on the bones and the muscles, we're giving off energy, but also storing energy. So through exercise, we actually increase our energy levels. We clear brain fog and feel better in general, right? So looking at the nutrition angle, making sure the minerals are up, and then having a regular workout. It doesn't even have to be every single day. Every second day is fine. A day of rest is also important to feel good.
Okay, so what about these other issues? Like hot flashing and these specific women's fitness issues. Does fit even younger women that are still in their cycle's still happening. There's hormonal things. Can fitness aid in this?
Well, okay, so hot flashes, that's going to be different for every woman. Again, that's to do with hormones and things like that. Hormones, if you look at the good fats in your life, good fats are in charge of regulation and production of hormones, which people kind of tend not to think about, right? So what we want to think, bad fats are omega-6, so that'd be canola oils and things that are fried. Good oils, we're looking at flaxseed, olive oil, coconut oil, omega-3 oils with vitamin D and K and things like that, okay? So looking at those good oils and getting them up will help to settle hormones and help reduce hot flashes, okay? So again, looking at nutrition that way. What was the second half of the question?
Now, younger women that are, they're still running through,
right.
They're still going through
If we're
it,
still in the cycle,
Yep.
It's really helpful for women to understand that leading up to their cycle, they can be gaining water weight even though their body fat is going down. So they might step on the scale and see that it's going up and get super frustrated about it, right? And I say to them, you need to hang on with me. You need to hang on with me through this, okay? This is just leading up to your cycle. And as the cycle drains away, the weight will drain back off, okay? It doesn't mean you're gaining fat necessarily. You're just gaining water, and then it will drain away after the cycle, right? And so for some women, that just makes the light go on, because every time for them, they didn't realize it was connected to that, and they'd see the scale going up even though they were trying so hard, and they're like, forget this, and then they just eat all the food, right? So when we can understand what's happening with the cycles, and that just because the scale is going up doesn't mean you're not still being successful in fat loss, right? The scale is only one part of this story. Also, everyone wants to see the scale drop, 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 drop. And it never goes that way. It drop, plateau often, even a little spike up, then a drop, and a plateau, and a spike, and a drop, and a plateau. So much more like a sawtooth as opposed to just a steady downgrade, right? So again, when they see the plateau, they get frustrated. Then they see it pop up, and they're like, what? And I'm like, you just need to understand that this is the cycle. And just watch the pattern go down like this, okay? Don't get angry and throw all your hard work out the window, right? Again, hang in with me. We'll get through these. Each month, we'll watch the same cycle, but I promise, you'll go lower, 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 okay? Just hang on.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
how do people connect with you? How do they become one of your clients?
You can find me on Facebook, Kerri Bodie. KerriBodie. Just look me up on Facebook, private message me, okay, and we'll just start talking and we'll figure out the best way that we can work for you. If it's when the gym's open, I'll get you to come out here. If we're still shut down, then I'll just talk with you through Zoom like this. You know, it works great.
Awesome, awesome. Kerri Bodie, personal trainer at Marked Improvement with me, James Steinhubel, on the Health and Wellness Channel, TVU. We'll see you next time, Kerri.
Thanks, James.